Joining us now to break down the investigation into Hunter Biden is Geoffrey Nathan. He's a criminal defense attorney that specializes in counterfeit and tax fraud. He also closely worked with the U.S. Attorney's Office, District Attorneys, Department of Homeland Security, and for the Carter administration. So, Geoffrey, we're seeing once again these allegations about Hunter Biden coming to the forefront. He says that he's being investigated for tax affairs, but Politico is saying that it might be deeper. It might include money laundering and even foreign ties. So can you break down what exactly Hunter Biden and Politico claims is being investigated?
Sure. Well, what's happened in this instance is that Hunter Biden has undoubtedly received what is called the United States Attorney's Office target letter emanating out of their investigation, which is overseen by what is called special agents assigned by their agencies to oversee, conduct, and then evaluate whether charges are meritorious. When the target receives such a letter, it says, look, we would like to talk to you. If you have an attorney, have your attorney contact us. If we don't hear from you within 10 days of the date of this letter, we will continue on in our investigation. So what you're seeing here is just the fact that Hunter Biden is disclosing the fact that he's received the target letter.
So at this point, it seems almost that it's the initial parts of an investigation, that they haven't necessarily subpoenaed everyone or done any sort of discovery. Is that what we can assume from this? Or would you say that it might be a little bit more detailed than that?
Whoa. No, I mean, it has to be more. You can't just send out a target letter because you feel like it. It's got to be predicated upon something. So the subpoenas have been flying out the door left and right for quite some period of time to all these companies that he overseen. And they're looking at, where's the money going and what'd you take for, what was your profit? And is this a tax avoidance or is this something else? And they don't know until they either talk to the target or talk to his attorneys and try to iron it out and see whether or not there can be what is called a plea to an information prior to an indictment. That's what I think Politico is getting at in this instance.
And you yourself, you've worked with U.S. attorneys, you've worked with the government, for example, but mostly on the defense side, I'm assuming, but I'm sure that you've also worked with them in a number of different ways when it comes to cooperation. So when it comes to the government taking action such as this, and I think it's worth noting that Hunter Biden was the first to announce the investigation, not the U.S. government, but this isn't something that they necessarily just free willingly do all the time. I'm assuming that there's some reason why they're doing this. Is that safe to say at this point?
Well, it's predicated upon facts that they uncover in the course of their investigation. And so, yes, there has to be a basis upon which to investigate. It can't just be a whim of the government. There has to be, and there is protections that are in, say, for example, outlined in the United States Attorney's manual that says this is what you have to have in order for you to open a file. And then if there's going to be a charge, there has to be a basis for it. And before they do that, they're going to offer something to anyone who's up on a tax investigation, and they're going to try to get them to cop out to something before they present to a grand jury. I don't know that there'd be enough time for them to get an arrest warrant before, say next year. But if he doesn't cop out to something, he'll wind up having his door knocked down. He'll be in cuffs.
And of course, everything that's being reported from now, whether it be the Biden statement itself, where he says that he's being investigated from tax affairs, all the way up to what Politico is reporting, which says that it could be money laundering or ties to foreign countries. I mean, that's something that goes a little bit beyond, I would assume, that is considered to be tax affairs. So when we're looking at the possible punitive damages or punitive remedy that would be applied to Hunter Biden, stretching all the way from tax affairs to money laundering, whatever it may be, what are we looking at? Is it something like a fine? Is it jail time?
Well, it depends upon the amount of the money that we're looking at here. These are sentencing calculations which proceed based upon, call it an algorithm, that is predicated upon the United States sentencing guidelines. And all United States attorneys who prosecute their cases have to consider these guidelines when we're doing the negotiations. We look at the guidelines to get sort of a baseline. Where are we at? It's called a back of the napkin analysis. And then they'll figure out, what kind of time he's looking at. But it really depends upon whether or not it was a sophisticated thing, whether or not it was just kind of I think I'll just, pocket some money here and not report it. And that kind of a thing is going to land you for 6 months in the state in a prison. But if it's really sophisticated and you're talking, 16 million laundered here because tax, not paying your taxes is kind of a form of money laundering. That's another count. That's going to, then you're looking at really years and years. Right now, it's my hunch that he's really looking at probably topping up for around 6 months in a camp.
Hmm. And that's the thing, too. There's a lot of uncertainty at this point about what exactly is being investigated. We need more information before we can accurately say what type of punitive remedy there would be, whether or not this is the validity of this still. There's still a lot of questions, but I think that it's interesting that the Biden team beat the U.S. attorneys and also CNN, who I guess was trying to report on this. They beat them with a statement coming beforehand, which gives me reason to believe that perhaps there is more information that we should be getting in the near future. But Geoffrey, Nathan, I appreciate you coming on the program tonight, breaking down these allegations. Thank you very much.
You got it. Thank you.